Hey everyone, so I have left Southern California and currently Tori and I are visiting my sister and we're in Alaska. We're currently right this very moment about 30 miles from Anchorage, and I wanted to show you something really cool that I looked up, and it's an interesting story, and it begins with that brown church that you see back there. And that church has been there since 1962. It's called St. Nicholas. But what's behind the church is pretty fascinating. So that's where I'm taking you today. So this mentions the old St. Nicholas Church restoration project. And we are in front of this old church, actually. It says the Russian Orthodox Diocese, which the local dena'ina built, and the denainas are Native Alaskans, built the old St. Nicholas Church in the circa 1870. The structure was relocated here to the Klutna in 1897 due to the influx of miners into Nick, which displaced the dena'ina from the area. 1972, Russian Orthodox clergy in Alaska nominated the church, along with 148 other Russian Orthodoxy sites in Alaska, the National Register of Historic Places. So that's this, and that's what they are working on right now to restore this. But the new St. Nicholas Church, this is pretty neat. Nothing is open today. I'm glad we can at least access this area to have a look at it. But this is the old church, which is being restored, and the new church is right there. And that was new as in 1962, I believe, is when it was opened. And something I was reading about the Russian Orthodox churches today, and the symbolism of the cross, and the top of it, of the Russian Orthodox cross. I'll show you at the top of the church. So the top of it, you can see how there's a cross at the very top of it, and that was to symbolize the at the top of the crucifix when they had hung the sign, which the letters always represented INRI, and it was Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. And that symbolizes the sign, and then the middle part with the longest side, and that where Christ's arms were nailed to the side of the cross, and then the bottom had to do with his feet and where his feet were nailed. But they say that the bottom of it always faces, or it's said to face north, which we sat in the car and tried to figure out if that's what's happening right now, but we really couldn't figure it out. But here's another, a more modern example. But we came here because of the cemetery that's behind it, because it's an unusual cemetery. The dena'ina people were, as I said, Native Alaskans, but when the Russian Orthodox influence, because we're not far from Russia, I mean, it's like 100 miles or less from Russia, it had a big influence of the area. And originally they weren't against cremations, but I wanted to show you these what they call them, when I looked it up online, spirit boxes or spirit houses. And it's very unusual. So as we were saying, that at Klutna, we're about 30 miles north of Anchorage, and the dena'ina people are Native Alaskans, and they've been in this area for almost 1,000 years. And before the Russian Orthodox missionaries, settled in the area, it was customary for the dena'ina people to cremate their deceased, and their ashes would be collected and put into baskets that would be placed in a tree or in a river to allow the spirit to continue the spirit journey to heaven. Boy, these have been here for a while. So then this church, the new church, was put here in 1962, and the dena'ina began converting to Russian Orthodox in the early 1800s. They were forbidden by the church to perform cremations, so the deceased were buried. And according to the teachings of the Russian Orthodox Church, there's a 40-day period when the dead make their journey from the grave. Some souls, they say, find themselves after 40 days in a condition of, they say, foretasting eternal joy and blessedness, and others in fear of the eternal torments which will come in full after the last judgment. In order to provide shelter for the traveling spirits, the dena'ina people built these spirit houses to cover the graves. Before the spirit houses are placed over the grave, the mound is covered in a blanket, which is believed by the dena'ina people to provide warmth and comfort to the soul of the dead. They say that the houses are decorated to symbolize the family's colors or traditions. So it'd actually be very interesting to know, because these diamonds have to have some sort of a significance to the family. So it sounds like they when they bury them, they put the blankets over their bodies for the 40 days. And I guess that these little houses are just kept here and maintained somewhat. I don't want to go traveling too much in there, but it's pretty cool that these still, clearly from a long time ago. I just saw one from the 50s, but some of them have to be a lot older than that. And some families maintain them, and but obviously family members die out. There's one in particular back there. You can see the white one. That looks like it's pretty well decrepit. Yeah, there's a few of them back there that look like they've been collapsed. Let's see how far I can. I don't want to fall into anything, so I don't know. I'm not too familiar with this area, so
You probably shouldn't.
Pardon?
Probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't say to stay off the path.
I know, but you don't know what's in there.
No, you don't. I guess you don't. So you can see how some of them are quite decrepit. Boy, these mosquitoes, man, you wouldn't think they'd be out right now, but they are. I'm getting attacked right now. Probably not a good idea walking through all this stuff and kicking them up. So they even have like little sort of artistic additions to the insides of them as well. I don't know how far down these people were buried. Oh, they all seem to have those inside them. Yeah, I've never seen, that's like gotta be an infant. I've never seen these kinds of structures on top of graves before. And that paint has made it a long time, you know? That's still quite a bright blue. Boy. So the church is still a historic landmark, but I don't know if the cemetery itself or it just is included. Oh, look at the little windows. The Clutna Alex. For a craftsman from Craftsman, in loving memory of a brother. Oh, like a lighthouse. Gosh, they go back. Ooh, I want to see that one. That one's got like 2 stories with windows. I got curtains. I haven't been in this kind of rain in a long time. Marie Ondola Rosenberg, 2003. Good wife, mother, and grandma. Look at that. That's beautiful. There's like a curtain with a little door with stars on it, looks like. Let's see. This one has a house drawn on it, or etched into it. So this must be Marie's husband, Gilbert. Oh, and that's so nice. There's a picture of the 2 of them on their front porch. So this is it looks like the cemetery property line. This is really a dramatic location. Sorry. I'm getting nailed with mosquitoes right now. This is really something. And there doesn't seem to be any real kind of status. Like a lot of times when you go to places, cemeteries, the taller they are, the more important they are. And these all seem pretty, pretty consistent. That one was very fancy, but it didn't sound like it was of any kind of social status. And a lot of them do have regular markers. There's a veteran, Roy Alex, died in 96. Chief of Eklutna, servant of God, dedicated church warden. There's some more over here. Oh, just a baby. Look at that. Oh, no. 57 to 2005. It was a misleading photo from a distance. So I would imagine... Whoa, these bugs. I wonder how far down they are, though. It'd be very curious. So clearly there's the older section. Excuse me. Let's go back, see how far back we can go. I wonder how well they keep the burial records here, too. 1989. Rosenberg seems to be a family name I've seen a lot of. That's pretty dramatic. Look at that. Wow. Boy, mosquitoes are feasting. '72 to 2010. So this is sort of like seems like a separate area. Like a different, like a border of some sort maybe on the other, from that side to this side. Possibly. Maybe a different, I don't know. I wonder what the symbolism is with those sort of poles alongside of them, you know? They transported them somehow. Or if it keeps them elevated somehow. Because look at that looks like, they were talking about covering them with a blanket first. Not good. For the 40 days, but that's 2022, so it's been more than 40 days. Now, are doors like supposed to be, would they have a sign out saying don't open this door? You think? Is it on a hinge? It is. Is that to look, for actually to look? I don't think I will, but I'd be curious. But they'd probably open up the door to something that probably shouldn't be, it'd probably be considered disrespectful, so I will leave it. (2021). You can't really say this is all that, you know, like the newer section, because there were new ones over on the other side too. Well, this is really new though. 2023. (2020). So if I keep moving, it's because I really am being attacked by these mosquitoes. It surprises me that mosquitoes come out in this climate. This is a different climate for me. But you think they'd be after a certain temperature, lower temperature, you think they would be a bit more lethargic or some sort of hibernation. Yeah, so maybe this is the way the cemetery is just expanding. That must be it.
He's so cute.
Where?
Right there, look at him.
I don't see anybody. Oh.
Very
Oh,
cute.
hello. There you are. Hi. What's he doing? What are you doing over
It's
there?
very curious.
Hi. Hello. I think I'm spooking him with my noises. Yeah, I'm gonna go through here. I'm curious to see inside one. Yeah, this is really interesting. I wonder if they had any, they had the funeral museum in Houston. I don't recall there being anything to sort of symbolize this type of death arrangement. Oh, look at Annie Ronning, 1981, with a bit of Jack. So maybe that little door was symbolic. You're supposed to look into it and you'll see something that represents that person. Yeah. I'm not going to go in there because I can't tell how deep that dirt is. And some of them are not very well maintained at all. Yeah, it looks like by the little windows being the way they are, they're kind of encouraging you to peek inside. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go down this pathway and then we're gonna go because my shoes are soaked. I'm wet. I'm getting grumpy. It's funny when we pulled up here, it's like at the very moment we pulled up here, like 2 other truckfuls of people came out, and it's like of all the times, of course, we wanted to see something. I'll just take one more little walk back here because I'm never coming back. Maybe if it looked more established from over there, the trail. All right, I'm gonna go back. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. My feet are soaked. Let's see what this This is back here. It's just a little place where you can probably meditate, say a prayer. Thank you to the dena'ina people for making this really fascinating place available to us, to all of us, for us to see. And it was a real treat and a real education to walk through that. And the parishioners of St. Nicholas Church as well for maintaining this land and letting us see it. It was fascinating. And thank you all for joining me. I hope you liked this trip with Troy and I. And until next time.
You heard me.